We are part of UnBox Youth Empowerment Initiative. Our aim is to help the students to build confidence, reduce stress, and prevent suicides. There's lots of stress on the students. And if you have any questions, please keep pouring in your questions for our expert who's here, Kavita Yadav. She's a counselor, she's a therapist, she is a career counselor, she's an author, and very actively helping students in Delhi, Gurugram, and across India with the challenges which students face. How to readjust to the changes that has happened during the COVID, and how to readjust back to the schooling despite all the challenges which are there, and what are the different challenges.
Thank you, Colonel Riyaz, first of all, for inviting me to your show. And you people are doing a great job by this unboxing live that you people are doing. So, yes, I am a counseling psychologist and a psychotherapist. I am dual certified parenting coach and parenting expert. I am a teen counselor certified in children and adolescents' mental health, a career guidance and counseling expert, family therapist, and an author. So I work with parents and teenagers with their behavioral issues, emotional challenges, mental health, parenting, relationship, and also guide teenagers for their career, stream selection, and what is the best suited career path for them. So this is what I do professionally, and I enjoy the space that I work into, and this is my passion, and I'm so looking forward to today's talk with you.
Okay, so what can Kavita, what can our audience expect today in this program?
Okay, so the topic of the live in itself is so self-explanatory, Colonel Riyaz. Like how to readjust to schooling post-COVID. And we all know how we were caught off guard by the pandemic COVID-19 and the challenges that our school-going children had to face because of it. So in today's live, we aim to understand the challenges that the students faced and some are still facing to transit from these 2 years of online schooling to offline schooling, back to school, and how as parents and as teachers we can best support our students and our children to sail through this and readjust. This is what our focus would be in today's life.
What is the most important challenge that you feel the students are facing?
The most important challenge that the students are facing. So, look, the most important challenge, Colonel Riaz, it would depend on the wing or the class the child is into. It would differ for a kindergarten student to a senior wing student out there, right? So the challenges cannot be the same for everyone out there. For example, let the audience understand with the help of example. For example, say a child currently is in class first, right? And he got admitted into the formal school in LKG in 2020 and was so looking forward to attend the school and be a part of the formal education. Parents were also excited, and then this lockdown and the pandemic happened. So for 2 years, the child was had no choice but to be at school. Schools did jump in and they went into online mode and everything said and done. But you and me and as adults will understand that how important are these two formal years for a child. Right now, coming back to class one, the offline schooling, there are a lot of expectations from a class one student. And these junior wing students are facing problem to adjust, right? First of all, the separation anxiety from the parents, because for 2 years the parents have been around them 24 by 7. Now the child is having separation anxiety, and more than the child, the parents are having the goosebumps and separation anxiety. Slowly and slowly things are settling, but that was the main challenge that came for these junior wing students, the kindergarten students out there. Now coming to the senior wing, another example I would say, maybe a student who's currently in class ninth or 10th was in class 7th or 8th when the pandemic happened. After 2 years, the child comes to class 10 straight away. And we understand that what is the pressure of being in a board class, right? Now, the children have slipped into their own comfort zones of having classes from their houses, their bedrooms, and now they are back into the school, sitting on those benches for long number of hours in front of the teacher. They can't even make excuses ki ma'am, the wi-fi is not working properly, I'll be switching off my video. They are in front of the eyes of the teacher with a lot of pressure from parents and the school as well, a lot of expectations. So these are few of the
Right.
challenges, and they differ from age wise, the development wise, the class wise.
Right. So as I understand that because of the switch from regular schooling to online and online to offline back to school, there have been lots of changes and challenges, and teachers and parents have to be patient with the children. I think that is one highlight, one important point which you are highlighting. Let's come on to the next question. So let's talk about a particular aspect about studies. Now, reading and writing, I think, are the skills which are most important for students. But now people have switched on to gadgets. So, what are the issues regarding reading and writing specifically, and how these can be overcome?
Basic reading and writing skills have been affected because of this dependency on technology, Colonel Riyaz. Right? Like students started relying on the recorded sessions or the lectures sent by the teachers to them, and the PDF notes were being sent to them, and they have to just type few lines here and there as a part of the homework. And in for the examination also for these 2 years, there were MCQs more than the written lengthy answers out there. So the children have gone into that phase, right? Now again coming back to school. Now this is again coming up as a big challenge for students, the reading and writing skills out there. And even the students' sleeping and eating patterns have changed to say. So keeping patience, appreciating the efforts of the children combined with positive reinforcements out there, giving students time to readjust is the way ahead to help them sail through and readjust to their offline schooling. And as parents, I would say we will have to invest our time and energy in supporting our children with their studies, because children learn more by observing than by being instructed like what to do and what not to do. So, if you are reading and enjoying as a parent, as an elder in the house, children will automatically pick up that habit, and it will be easier for them, right? And moreover, we also see that we can break the task of these reading and writing into smaller chunks, and it becomes easier for children to complete these tasks. And these small accomplishments fill these children with pride. They, okay, one has been done, the second has been ticked, and they stay inspired to complete these new tasks out there. So we have to be patient with our students and children out there. Let me just talk about the challenges that Colonel Riaz had asked about the reading and writing skills in children. So, yes, this is one of the major challenges that is coming up. And I've had parents who come to me that saying that my child is not able to read even simple words and is not able to frame complete sentences out there. And there is a lot of anxiety in parents because of this. So, all I would like to say is that, dear parents, please be patient, please be calm with your children and encourage them slowly, because it will take time for them to come out of these 2 years of pandemic effect that this our children have faced.
Right. So one important part is that don't expect the students to suddenly switch on and off the way nature or the circumstances have been happening. Give it time; they will take time to readjust. So that's one important part you are highlighting. Let's
Yes.
talk about the writing skills specifically. Can you talk a little more about that?
Okay, so as we have been discussing, like these 2 years is a big gap that has come into the lives of our children. We really need to accept it, right? And time and again, I cannot stress enough for raising our patience level when it comes to academics, reading skills, writing skills for our children out there. So, yes, if the children are in senior classes, we need to talk to them and make them understand that it's a part of the package. They will have to write and they will have to read, right, to sail through their academics and education. But if genuinely it's an overload and children are feeling that pressure, as parents, we need to go back to schools, talk to these class teachers, the school supervisors, and try and find the best solutions out there. A little planning and organization will help our children be comfortable and and sail through these academic challenges out there. So
Okay,
the day's work can be divided into smaller chunks, as I've been talking about. The timetable, the structure needs to be created around them for them to be comfortable and easy.
right. Are there any issues regarding adjustment in terms of social adjustment? I heard there are students who don't want to, or not comfortable facing other students, because they got used to living in isolated, homes with just two, three people around them.
Okay, so when it comes to social adjustment, yes, I've heard parents saying that my child is not comfortable meeting other children nowadays, right? The child loves being alone in his or her own zone. So the confidence level of children has certainly dropped, and the language and social skill development has been severely impacted due to this pandemic out there. And even teenagers, they find solace in their digital devices rather than being with their peers out there. So they have found a new comfort zone for themselves, and they enjoy it. So certainly social adjustment problems are being seen into children out there. So here I would say that schools did best what they could by shifting to online classes during the pandemic, and they tried their best to keep the students productively busy and ensuring that their academics do not suffer during the pandemic. So schools did what they could. But my question is to parents out there, that were you there for your own children during these 2 years? It is a question to be asked to self and honestly answered. So if we really want our children to have these social skills, we have to be present in the lives of our children and be good role models out there for them to see and have those values and those skills inside them.
So, how can this social readjustment issue be solved by getting the students to readjust slowly or helping them to attend other classes? Or what are the methodology that can be followed?
So there's no methodology as such, Colonel Riyaz. I would say, like, if social skills have to be developed for smaller children, parents can arrange play dates, calling their own batchmates and their peer groups to their homes and having them interact with playful activities and engaging them. That is one way for younger children. And for teenagers also, within the family, you need to have that we time together. You need to see that the entire family is sitting together and talking rather than being on your own, each individual mobile phone out there. जब आप एक दूसरे के साथ हैं, so these mobile phones should be out and you should be talking to each other. Parents can start sharing about their day, how their day went, right? And or you can take your children to your own childhood and talk about your childhood days. So you have to enter that door and take that initiative, and when you start talking and interacting, your children will follow you. You have to make them feel safe and secure and interested in those conversations. So these conversations, when the entire family is together, should not revolve only around academics and coaching and grades and marks and all of it. So make it more interesting and playful for the children to come and be a part of it. So there's no one fixed strategy that it fits everyone out there. You have to see your home environment, you have to see your own parenting style, and you have to match it with the personality of your child out there. and then help your child develop these skills. A lot of children are hesitant to meet their friends. The excitement seems to have been replaced by anxiety about meeting them. Yes, sure, sure. Anxiety has creeped in into our lives, and not only into the lives of our children, but into our own lives as well. So, if we don't become those role models to our children and we don't show them how to manage these anxieties, they're never going to learn, right? So we have to, as I said, invite their friends over, invite your friends over, create that environment where they're meeting real people out there, where they come out of this digital world, where they feel so comfortable. Nowadays even students, they don't talk to their friends over the phone, they don't call a friend and talk. What they do is they chat. They chat either on WhatsApp or Instagram chat. And I've seen that with my own daughters, and I often talk to them कि बेटा, why don't you call up and speak? टाइम भी कम लगेगा, बात भी हो जाएगी, दोस्त की आवाज भी सुनने को मिलेगा. And how do these teenagers then they say, Ma, you don't know, this is how everybody does today. We are Gen Z. I think Gen Z, अगर उसके अलावा भी कोई और जनरेशन आ गई है, कोई और नया टर्म है, आई एम नॉट अवेयर, but this is how teenagers talk today. So you can't take offense, you can't take things personally, you have to laugh it off, you have to just I mean be a little more flexible with your children around, and invite them to talk to you first, invite them to talk to, if there are grandparents in the house, go and talk to them, spend some time with them, and then slowly and slowly with each step take them out, help them mingle with other people, extended family members and their friends. And really you have to be patient, and you have to draw a roadmap for your children to start interacting and pull them out of this digital world.
Friends is not there anymore. So I suppose this problem is common because after a gap of 1 or 2 years, students went back to school. Either they changed their school, or people who joined in the 11th class went into a new stream, new class, new section, and suddenly met with strangers. So how do you handle this meeting with strangers and adjusting to the new teachers and students?
Right, you very rightly mentioned that these 12th graders, when they came back, they had different set of friends out there because of the stream that they have selected. And some schools are only till class 10, so they take admission to schools where in class 12th into new schools. So a new set of children joining in, their old friends taking different streams, and they coming back to school after a gap of 2 years. And from one board straight away into another board, class 12th, the last year of school, right, with a lot of pressure. And these 2 years have taken life out of our teenagers. Let me tell you that they have a lot of stress, anxiety, and some even have depressive symptoms also. So a lot of effort needs to be done from parents' side, encouraging children, appreciating their efforts, being present in their life, not only physically but also emotionally, and then joining hands with schools, talking to the teachers, asking them how is my child doing in class, in school. And teachers also have to be very patient. I understand it's class 12th and board for them, but they have to see that they come up in between with different activities where students are, they get a time to mingle with each other, interact with other batchmates and classmates out there.
One important thing is, what are those specific symptoms which parents should look for, to realize that there is something going on which is not normal. Otherwise parents then don't tend to notice, because most of the time the teenagers may be sitting in the room, not interacting, or interacting with their friends on mobile. So what are the specific symptoms, about 4 or 5, which the parents, if they see, they will think that, okay, this is what we need to watch out for?
Great question, Colonel Riyaz. Thank you for asking it. Yes, nowadays you see that when parents of teenagers are talking, one parent would say that, like, oh, my child is always inside her room and the door is locked, and she loves being on her own. And what would the other mother or the other parent say? Oh, my child also behaves in the same manner. It's pretty normal nowadays. It's okay. Don't worry. So somewhere I do agree, it is normal. Children of this age are behaving in this manner, right? But when should that bell ring in your head? When you see that this behavior is being stretched for number of days. If your child was bubbly before and now he or she is withdrawing and not talking, right? And if you see the change in their eating habits, if you see the change in their sleeping habits out there, right? Or if the child was not too much talkative and all of a sudden the child has started talking too much, and if you see the child is around you most of the time but is not saying something, because these children don't know how to express themselves. So as parents, I need to be very observant and study the body language of my child. So these are few of the symptoms which you have to see and be very aware, and then that bell should ring, and please see that you talk to your child, take help that is available from the experts out there, and see that what best can be done.
After COVID, family dynamics have changed. Change in city happened, and moreover, schools of these children have changed. How to help children during this big transition? So what she's saying is change of city also, change of schools also, right? How to help in this transition? Let's address this question first.
Okay, so Richi, yes, cities have been changed, and because of that, schools have been changed for children. Children have left their best friends in other cities and have moved on with parents and families. So, how to help children during this big transition is that as parents, as families, you have to stick around. You have to talk to your children, and rather than more than into being into the telling mode that do this, don't, just ask your children, ask these children how are they feeling. Ask open-ended questions to them. Listen to them, what they are trying to say. Observe their behavior, right? And in new city, new school, you help these children. If, like, supposing you people have shifted and this is about your children, again I would say you take that initiative of making friends with the mothers of children who are now a part of classmates or batchmates of your children, and you again invite them over. Take your children out and help them around the city and make them comfortable, and be in touch with the class teacher and subject teachers in the school. So when you will be there around with your children physically and emotionally and talking to them, it will be easier for these children to have this transition smoothly.
What is a way to reduce this digital, or the screen time, and how students can be kept away from it as much as possible? We cannot do away with this, or it's a part of our life. But what is the way to reduce this? Can you give some suggestions?
Okay, so this question that you're asking now and the question asked by the viewer, Richie. So I would like to add one more thing that is very important. So I've had parents coming to me and saying that Kavita, children are around us. We all are sitting in the same room. But still, we as elders and we as parents, we don't know how to talk to our own children. I don't know what questions to ask them. So as parents, we are failing, Colonel Riyaz. It is our anxiety that is rubbing onto our children. It is our silence that is rubbing onto our children. We are physically there, but we are not engaging with our own children. हमें ही नहीं मालूम कि उनसे क्या बात करें. Why? Because we fear that if we say something, they may answer back and we take that personally. So before jumping onto children and trying to correct them or trying to teach them something, I very strongly stress that it is the parents who need to learn first. It is the parents who need to unlearn and then relearn first. Because please, dear parents, ask yourself, where are you in the lives of your children? So, for that, before you ask your children to leave their digital devices on one side, you have to leave your digital devices on one side. When you go inside the room of your children and to ask how are they, what are they doing, and if you enter with your mobile phone in your hand, and the moment a WhatsApp message beeps up and your eyes straight away go to that. You're looking into your mobile phone and you are talking to your child. What is the child getting out of it? What is more important for you, your phone or the child? So how can you expect your child when you say, अच्छा बहुत देर से फोन के ऊपर हो, please keep the phone on side now, come let's talk, let's play. You think the child is going to abide by that instruction of yours, by that demand of yours? No, it is not going to happen. You have to show them how to be away from these digital devices. So you have to create structures around your children. You have to create those moments where you are literally interacting with your children, looking into their eyes, cuddling them, hugging them, laughing, giggling, and there are no digital devices involved. What time suits you as a family to do that? You have to come up with those time. It could be straight away before going to bed, those 15 minutes of the entire family time, playing together, talking, laughing, doing anything other than studies and academics, right? On weekends you can have a plan that we will go out, but without our mobile phones. We are taking mobile phones, but if we are dining together, say we are out for a lunch or a dinner, all the phones would be in on one side and switched off. This is our family time. Nothing is going to happen. कोई भी important deal नहीं आपकी मिस होने वाली है, कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. So but first you have to convince yourself before you go out and try to convince your child to let go of that screen time, to reduce that screen time for them. You have to take that initiative. Again and again it comes back to parents. Children will do, children will follow, they will listen, but you need to learn how to talk to your child. You cannot just go and demand, पिछले 1 घंटे से फोन पे हो, जब देखो फोन पे रहते हो, बंद कर दो, मैं तुम्हारा फोन ले लूंगी, मैं इसे तोड़ दूंगी, मैं इसे फेंक दूंगी, एंड all those things. And this comes out of the anxiety and the pressure that the parents are having over their head. So first you need to relax down, dear parents. You need to take a breath in and a breath out. And that's the only way. You have to set example for your child. And the children follow. Children definitely follow. But are you there? Are you leading the path? The question is that.
Okay, you've given some very, very interesting suggestions. First is that you set the example and they will follow. That is one. And the second thing is when you go out, keep all the phones in the bag and keep it separately and then have fun. You know, those are very, very interesting suggestions, and lead from the front and set an example. And don't be too violent as all of a sudden one fine day just pick up and throw the phone. So I think it should be taken step by step so that the things don't become kind of a friction and a fight, but rather a gradual change is what you're suggesting, right?
Yes, absolutely. It need not be power struggles between parent and children. It's not required. It can be easily done with all the love and warmth, right? But it has to be one
Right.
step at a time and on a consistent basis. You can't expect all of a sudden, then one day you just barge into the room and say, hand over all the phones to me. No, no, that's not going to happen, no?
I think this one important area, a free flow of communication, is how to communicate better. I think this is one point she wants to ask, highlight, and seek your suggestions.
Yeah, sure. So you rightly mentioned communication is the base, right? Where we connect with the children. And as children, they are busy in their own world, right? They have their own sweet world in that mobile. All their friends are there, they're chatting and enjoying and scrolling the videos and doing everything. So if you want to enter into the life of your children, you have to open the door of communication and step in. And before you ask anything, right, you have to initiate and you have to start communicating with your child. You open up with your child. You can share about your day. How was your day? What challenges did you face? And then you can invite opinion of your children. How do they feel about it? What do they have to add on to that? These are some of the ways, and very rightly mentioned that communication is the base on which we need to connect with our children. But parents are in a rush. They want to correct immediately. कुछ हुआ नहीं, ऐसे नहीं करना, ये क्यों किया, ओ ये तो तुमने ही किया होगा, यू मस्ट बी एट फॉल्ट, and all the judgment enter, all the labeling start happening, and all the correction come into picture. And that is where the disconnect happens between the parent and the child. So before you jump onto correcting, you have to first connect. And what is the way of connecting is by talking to your child on a regular, consistent basis and on n number of topics other than academics, that how was your exam, how many marks have you got, and how was your school. These are normal day questions. Okay, agreed. But what more? You have to be creative, you have to be flexible, you have to be an interesting parent for your child. Otherwise, the moment you start asking one question, the children are very smart. They say, Ma, second question would be this, third question would be this, and you know my answers. My day was as it is always. Done, full stop, period, and the communication ends there. So, if you really want to have those conversations on a regular basis, ask open ended questions, right? Start first, share first, and then invite your children to add on to that. Be a little flexible. Yes, there should be rules around your children, there should be certain structures and boundaries, but at times, break those boundaries and then see what happens. Enjoy those moments, create those memories with your children by being a little easy, a little flexible. Don't worry, every child will find his or her right path.
Uh, any tips about, now this exams are coming in, pre-boards, boards, competitive exams? What are any tips for handling, both from the view of parents and the students? How can you reduce stress? Because we do keep hearing of so much of stress, depression regarding the exams in particular, and there's so much of pressure, so much of expectation. How that can be resolved? Can you just share a few tips, because these are core area of how to reduce stress and make the students feel better so that they can perform better and live a happy life?
Right. So, first thing is that this is not the last exam that your child is going to give, right? Life in itself is an exam. So, do not pressurize your children for getting marks in 10th standard, 12th standard, especially these board students out there. There's a lot of unsaid pressure that these children already take onto themselves. They are already into that competitive mode. But if, as parents, we also add on to that pressure, how is the child going to bear it? So, unrealistic, unreasonable expectations need to stop. You have to let your child know that they have your back. You are there with them, come whatever may. Marks आए, marks ना आए, doesn't matter. What is important is your child, the well-being of your child, the physical, mental, emotional well-being of your child is more important, right? As parents, I think for every parent that is on the top priority and should be on the top priority. Then comes the marks and grades and everything. Even if in today's time we are pressurizing our children to get those 100% and all of it, when there are ample opportunities to build your career and make your life. Gone are the days when there were only 3, 4 career options out there. Nowadays, a child can make career in any field which is of interest, where his or her passion lies. So let your child explore his or her own creativity, his or her own likes and dislikes. Have conversations around these topics with your children rather than just saying कितना syllabus हो गया, cover हुआ या नहीं हुआ, oh tomorrow is your maths exam, and creating an unnecessarily burden and pressure on the child. So before exams, just be with your children, just be around them, give them that feeling of safety and security, and let them know time and again that whatever happens, as far as the marks and grades go, you are and you will always be there in their support. You're not going to judge them, you're not going to label them. They will not be loved on the basis of the marks that they score, right? Your children need to hear it time and again, time and again. Please keep the environment of your house a little stress free. I can't say 100% stress free because बच्चे खुद भी प्रेशर लेते हैं, खुद भी कॉम्पिटिटिव मोड में आ जाते हैं. They also want to do good. But if you add on to that pressure, how are they going to handle it? And very sadly, we have seen recently what has happened in Kota, right? 3 students have committed suicide. So just do not push your children. Just be around them, hug them, be with them, tell them again and again that you are with them, come whatever may. Just relax them. And before exams, just if you can take them out, take them out. I mean, I've done that with my own daughter. Just before her board exams, I've taken her out to see movies, watch movies, and I've literally asked her to come and have dinner with us and not in her own room. And we have played board games before the board exams out there. These are small, small ways in which you can help your child relax. You have to figure out what your child likes, what is your family, how you can be there for your children. So you may tweak some of these ways and help your child calm down and create structures around your children and see that they have a good sound sleep before the exam so that they get fresh in the morning and do their best.
So, any tips you have regarding the schools? I know we don't have too many teachers with us, but as teachers or maybe even the parent, what can teachers do in the school to touch upon these aspects? Work on these aspects or make the students feel comfortable. Any tips you have? Some ideas?
So look, teachers are also parents, right, for their own children. So, but when they're teachers into school, they're replacing the parents. So I know they are also under a lot of pressure to get that result for the school out there. But how is the question mark out there? So you have seen number of batches going in front of your eyes. Who knows better than you how to calm down students out there? So instead of telling children, I'm sorry to say this, but I've heard students coming to me and saying, दैट मैम आपको पता नहीं है स्कूल में कैसे बातें होती हैं एंड ये बोला जाता है तुम्हारा कुछ नहीं होगा, बोर्ड आ गए हैं, तुम पढ़ते नहीं हो, तुम्हें तो इतना भी नहीं मालूम, यू आर नॉट इवन एबल टू आंसर दिस स्मॉल क्वेश्चन. एंड आई एम सॉरी माय डियर टीचर्स, बट students feel pressurized basis the way you talk to them. So you have to see things from the perspective of the child out there. You need to encourage them, right? You need to tell them tips how to write those answers in the exams, that how should they write properly, how should they frame those sentences, how should they write point wise, what to highlight, what to underline. And you know all the tips out there. So who better than you to guide students, to calm them down and to encourage them with your experience, rather than telling them that तुमसे नहीं होगा, तुम नहीं कर सकते, बोर्ड रिजल्ट खराब हो जाएगा, and all those things. So first, no offense, let's accept the situation. Our children are already into too much of pressure and stress, and mental health is going for a toss, and after pandemic it has gone to a different level altogether. So we all need to join hands as parents, as teachers, as school authorities, and be around these children and help them know that we are there for them. Yes, positive words of affirmation need to be told to children out and again, loud and very clear, that you can do it. You will be able to do it. These are the ways to do it, beta. This is how you should be doing it. You're doing so well. If you do it this way, you can improve yourself. So there are a number of ways in which as parents and as teachers we can encourage our children. So let's do that together. So my last words would be for the parents and my viewers who are listening to me, that please raise the bar of your patience. Raise the bar of your patience, especially when you are with your children. Power struggles never help. Egos never help. No parental ego will be of any help to you and your child. All you have to do is you have to see that you are around your children with all your love, warmth, without any conditions applied. Without any conditions applied. And that is when the real connect will happen, and your children will flourish and will be successful in whatever they choose to do. Just support them and be with them.